Beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, we are recording. Hank in the house with me. For those of you that are new, and we have some new people, Hank, because we're on the second channel now. And, I was mystified by the fact that there's a lot of people who don't even follow the main channel. This is not a plug. This is actually more appreciation for those people who came to this channel just to see me and all my wild antics. So got Hank here, or I can point over here. There you go. We got Hank here from Hank Unfiltered. I'm going to be trying to do this like twice a week where we just sit down, talk some news, give our opinions on what's going on, cover things that maybe I didn't have time to cover during the week, or, maybe I don't want to go as deep on, et cetera, et cetera. And of course, get your opinion. For anyone who doesn't know, Hank, we have here, let me just move us over for a second. He has a channel here. It's called Hank Unfiltered. Looking like subscribers are going up. You're at 643, 10 videos. Believe me, it took me a lot more than 10 videos to get that high. So you're almost there. He's almost there, ladies and gentlemen. Hit subscribe as I did. Hit those notifications. He's making great videos. But I guess I'm a little rushed because right before we hit record, you said there's breaking news. I was going to go into the RFK stuff. Yeah. What's the breaking news? What happened?
Well, we got two things. I sent one over to you. It seems as though the protection for Canada, for the United States, has been revoked until it becomes the 51st state. Would you believe that?
Wow. Okay, let me move over here. Let me grab that. Oh, Trump is talking about it, huh? Okay.
Yeah. And there's some other breaking news here too as well. We got to get into this, Coach. This is an exciting news day. Let's have some fun here.
Okay. All right. So let's see what Trump has to say.
We think the European Union is wonderful. We all love Europe, love the countries in Europe. But European Union has been absolutely brutal on trade. Canada has been very bad to us on trade, but now Canada is going to have to start paying up. And Canada's been tough on the military because they have a very low military cost. They think we're going to, protect them with our military, which is unfair. So Canada is going to be a very interesting situation because, we just don't need their product. And yet they survive off the fact that we do 95% of what they do. And Canada is just absolutely, I say it, and sometimes people smile and sometimes they say great idea, but Canada, their taxes would come down greatly. Their security would go up greatly. Amazing things happen to Canada. And really Canada in this particular, why would we pay $200 billion a year in subsidies to Canada when they're not a state? You do that for a state, but you don't do that for somebody else's country. So I think Canada is going to be a very serious contender to be our 51st state.
How long is ongoing with Canada? There was obviously a delay in implementing those tariffs.
I spoke to Governor Trudeau on numerous occasions, and we'll see what happens. But it just sets up so good for them. People would pay much less tax than they're paying right now. They'd have perfect military protection. They don't have any military protection because and you take a look at what's going on out there. You have Russian ships, you have China ships, you have Chinese ships, you have a lot of ships out there. And, people are in danger. This is a different world today. It's a different world. They need our protection, yes.
You mentioned Elon Musk and the efforts that he's undertaking with your authority. You granted him new authority this week. Will he secure any new government contracts while he is working on Doge?
No, not if there's a conflict. If there's no conflict, I guess what difference does it make? But we won't let him do anything having to do with the conflict.
Are you personally checking to make sure there's no conflicts of interest?
Yeah, I am.
He answers to you.
Sure, he does. First of all, he wouldn't do it. And second of all, we're not going to let him do anything with a conflict of interest.
Mr. Sefai, your negotiations with the EU there's discussions ongoing already. How quickly do you expect that you'll hear back from them about any of these other measures?
I can't tell you, The EU's been very nasty. It's just been, they haven't treated us properly. Look, we were great to them on NATO. Essentially, it's a similar group of countries.
So it seems like that's it for that clip. I don't know if he goes back into Canada to talk, because this is more like a press conference type of thing. But yeah. I mean, protection being removed, that kind of makes sense. right now. I mean, you know, if something were to happen, like if Russia stormed Canada, I think the US would still have to step in and be like, okay, you took this too far. And I think they would handle business. But I think that's what Trump needs to do. He needs to, like, I'm sure he sees these desperate ploys from these Canadian politicians talking about removing American things off of shelves, et cetera, et cetera. And that probably annoys him, quite honestly. You know what I mean? Like, I think, what is it? Premier of Ontario? Is it Doug Ford?
Yep.
Yeah. He was telling people to do stuff like that. So, yeah, I get that completely. 100%. It just makes sense that that's what they're gonna do militarily wise. Like, what else is there to be done? It just needs to happen already. Greenland, Canada, the whole thing. I think it would be perfect. You know,
Here's the thing, Coach, though. You know, look, Canada's been working against the United States through and through for years, ever since Justin Trudeau came into power. Going back to 2016, he wanted to give ISIS winter jackets. He decided to stop bombing them and say, oh, you know, maybe they're just cold, you know, help them out. It was a bunch of nonsense. And on top of that, over here, his administration in Canada has also given the likes of terrorists like Omar Khadr, I think, like $10 million. Because, right, like, you know, this is the kind of nonsense that's been happening over there. They've been repatriating ISIS fighters into Canada as well. They've been caught red-handed by the Indian government, allowing human trafficking in the way of having the the administration departments in these colleges go ahead and import different Indian nationals into Canada, giving them student visas who never attend classes and use that visa as a way to enter the United States illegally.
Yeah. I
mean,
I heard about that recently. There's a guy that I want to interview. His name's Liam, and I see that he has a channel. He talks about this extensively. He actually talks about the fact that the southern border versus the northern border has become the preferred route, and they've stopped about 350 people on the terrorist watch list at the Canadian border versus only 150 at the southern border, the Mexican border. So they're starting to see exactly what you're saying. It's becoming the preferred route because it's easier. This is my thinking. It's easier to get into Canada than it is to cross the Darien Gap to get to Mexico to cross into through the southern border. The Darien Gap, people die. People die constantly trying to get through that border. It's very, very, very dangerous. And it's not just the elements, it's the people, it's the gangs, it's the cartels. It's a terrible, terrible, terrible place to have to try and get through. So makes sense. But what else popped up here that you had? We also have the signal going. Let me just see this. Actually, you know what? No. So we have
just
that.
A comment on the thing, though, Coach. You know, but they are still part of NATO, so I'm not sure how that works. I guess that's to be continued. But regardless of the circumstances, what Canada is also doing is they're money laundering. Basically, they're helping all these criminal organizations launder money, and because they have banks that are both in Canada and the United States, they're washing that money, cleaning it, and then it's entering the United States into criminal organizations over there illegally too. So I wanted to point that out for the viewers because it's crazy what's going on there, and the Americans need to know what's going on.
But, yeah, it's a sad thing to see. I hope that the United States just absorbs Canada and just gives the Canadians the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, you know, completely abolishes their internet censorship bills, you know, gives them a proper military. Like there's just so many benefits. I mean, like we were, I think I was talking about it with you. If Trump went away from just Canada being a state and he turned to the provinces and started asking each one of them if they'd like to go, I think he'd see 3 provinces jump over right away, and the rest would just follow when they see what a great deal it is to be a part of the United States. I think it would happen so quickly. It would make people's heads spin. But if you put it all into the lap of the politicians, I've talked about this before in videos, they're going to lose their jobs. So of course they're fighting it. They're not doing it for the people. Bro, I should find this video for you. It's just like Letitia James. Have you seen Letitia James recently? She says that she's suing Doge, and she's doing it to protect New Yorkers. She's trying to protect their data and make sure that they're safe. It's like, you're not doing it for that reason. These are completely your own reasons. Chuck Schumer, Maxine Waters, they're fighting Doge. They're like, we're protecting the people. Elon Musk is seizing power. It's like, no, he's cutting your purse strings. That's what you're really worried about. You're not worried about people and what's going to happen.
Yep.
For how long have people been going through strife and everything? And now they're stepping in. Now that Elon Musk is finding waste in their purse strings, in their huge pile of unlimited tax dollar cash, now all of a sudden they're like, we have to protect you guys from Elon Musk. Get out of here. It's nonsense. And the Canadian politicians are doing the exact same thing. They're protecting their own jobs, because I've made jokes about it. Justin Trudeau ain't going to be able to hang with Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham's going to take him for all he's worth. Lindsey Graham's going to be like, come here, boys. Hold on to my belt. You're mine. Come on over here. This is my new junior senator, Justin. Don't speak unless spoken to, boy.
Oh, that'd be great to see. Can you imagine that?
It's going to be crazy. They're all out of a job instantly. They're going to have to work at the DMV, Canadian DMV. That's it. They're done. So,
you know what? They're just covering their asses. There's so much corruption there. That's why they're trying to go after Doge and try to discredit it. And I mean, that's one of the tactics, right? You discredit it, and in doing so, you're providing yourself cover, and along with your allies who are quite enemies of the state and the country.
Yeah, exactly. But on to this news here. As you know, I made videos about this. Probably going to end up making videos on both channels, because I can't wait to see Joe Rogan's reaction to this, because he was the first one to give Bobby Kennedy a massive platform. He has been confirmed. He is HHS. It's absolutely amazing. He is the secretary. He's ready to go. You know, he's going to be making huge changes. What else do I have here? Oh, I got this video. People say it's official. It's official. It's Bobby Kennedy. I hope you're ready, bro, because everyone's gonna have a six-pack soon, and
I'm all for it.
Everybody's gonna be jacked going forward. Everybody's gonna know about beef tallow going forward. Get ready. It's not a game. I'm actually, like I was saying in the video I just made, this feels way different. Like, Tulsi is like, okay, that's good. She's gonna report on things. Kash Patel is going to cause massive change when he's confirmed. And I am predicting that he will be confirmed, although we haven't heard if he has the votes yet. But with Bobby Kennedy, it's so different, because if you ever watched him when he was on Rogan, when he was talking about this exact thing, because if he was running for president, but he was talking about the kids and health and everything. And at one point he gets so choked up and he starts, he's almost crying, talking about, the kids and what happens to certain kids. And this has just been something he's wanted to do for the longest time. And I mean, he walked away from running for president. He pushed aside being Trump's VP, and it's just a perfect position for him. This is just where he needs to be. And I'm so happy that he got this, because he's going to cause massive change. Like, this is the perfect, like, as president, obviously he would do some great things for sure. But this is actually the perfect position for what he's been focused on, making people healthy. It's just, it's great to see, honestly.
I mean, Colin, me and my family's venture into the health epidemic over here, and how impact it can have on one's life. And I got to tell you, what you're taking to your body has such a big impact on your wellness, especially later on in life. And so many of these pharmaceutical companies, drug companies, you name it, they don't want you to know that. They want to cover it all up. They want Americans essentially to be sick, because it makes them money. Yeah,
that's what I was going to say. There's a major incentive, right?
Yeah.
And for the first time, I think I venture to say the first time in decades, maybe even a century, now things are going to be way different in that respect. Yeah, it's just really happy to see it happen for Bobby Kennedy, and Donald Trump giving some words on that as well. And let's get into it. Let's listen to this. Donald Trump speaking on Robert F. Kennedy, and then Robert F. Kennedy is going to be giving his first words as secretary.
Chronic disease crisis that exists in America. He's absolutely committed to getting dangerous chemicals out of our environment and out of our food supply and getting the American people the facts and the answers that we deserve. After years in which our public health system has squandered the trust of our citizens, and they really have, they don't trust us. They don't trust anybody, frankly. They've gone through hell. There's no better person to lead our campaign of historic reforms and restore faith in American healthcare. Bobby's going to do it. The United States spends more money in health than any other country on earth, but we're growing sicker every year. We're not as healthy as countries that spend just a fraction of what we spend, so there's something wrong. He's going to figure it out. In recent decades, we've seen staggering increases in cancer rates across all age demographics, including more than 40% increase in childhood cancer since 1975. Who can believe that? And an explosion in other chronic childhood illnesses. Not long ago, 1 in 10,000 people, children, had autism. Now it's 1 in 36. Think of that. 1 in 10,000. 1 in 10,000. Now it's 1 in 36. Who can believe that? There's something wrong. There's something wrong. And I think it's something that can be found out. In 2022, more than 40% of children had at least one chronic health condition, and today nearly 80% of young adults do not qualify for military service, in large part for health reasons. Think of that, 80%. Something is wrong, and that's why immediately after Bobby is sworn in, I will be signing an executive order establishing the President's Commission to make America healthy again. We have some great people on that commission. Chaired by our new secretary, this groundbreaking commission will be charged with investigating what is causing the decades-long increase in chronic illness, reporting its findings, and delivering an action plan to the American people. And it's going to be a plan that people are really waiting to hear. Bobby, I want to thank you. You've gone through a lot. It's taken great courage. You've been amazing, actually. I'd call him and say, "You're going to be okay." And he said, "I know, I really do." He's really been supported amazingly by Cheryl and his family. And it was very tough. It was a very nasty group of people that were after him, but he was tougher and he was smarter than they are. And that's why he's here today. There are very few people that could have withstood the assault, but he was able to. So I just want to congratulate you. And we have a very special person here to swear you in, a man that I think has done just, I think he's just an amazing man. As you know, his name happens to be Gorsuch, and he's a member of the Supreme Court in extremely good standing. He's highly respected by everybody. And I didn't know, are you two friends or something? Or did this just happen to be the justice? Did this just happen to be the luck of the draw? What happened?
I reached out to him.
Did you reach out? Well, you reached out to a very good man. So please, if you would, thank you very much.
Wow.
This has to be done
I'll
first.
do this first. I'm going to make this a good one, good? Okay, it's good so far. Good. It's a 10.
No, why am I in the
Right, go in there, get the kids in there, go in there. Pick the kids in.
Over here, please.
It's really happy.
Would all the family like to join?
Yes, sure.
All right. Please place your left hand on the Bible and raise your right. I, Robert F. Kennedy Jr.,
I, Robert F. Kennedy Jr.,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely,
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
on which I am about to enter.
on which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. Secretary.
I want to begin by thanking President Trump for giving me this extraordinary opportunity. And I want to introduce my family and thank them for being here. My wife Cheryl, my cousin Anthony Shriver, my daughter Kik, my other daughter Kira, Carolina Shriver, Joey Shriver, Jackson Hines, and Amaryllis Kennedy.
All right.
And I want to thank all of you for your support and throughout this whole 2.5-year journey. My first time in this Oval Office was in 1961. And I came here to meet, or 1962. I came here and I had a meeting with my uncle, who was president then, where we talked about the environment. He was involved deeply, as we all know, in restoring physical fitness to this country. He challenged at one point during his administration, he challenged Americans to do a 50-mile walk, which I ultimately did. But I remember the day that my father completed his walk. We were staying up at Camp David. And my father came in after 18 hours walking on the towpath with his feet bleeding and blisters on them. My father had one of his best friends was Al Lowenstein. And Al Lowenstein ultimately was a congressman from New York who was assassinated himself in 1980. And Al Lowenstein had started the Dump Johnson movement to get rid of President Johnson and end the Vietnam War. And at the time that he started it, people just thought it was a fool's errand. And ultimately, he asked my father to run for president against Johnson. My father wouldn't do it at that time, and he asked Gene McCarthy. McCarthy did it, and he joined that campaign. And my father ultimately ran, and Johnson then dropped out. So Al Lowenstein succeeded. And although Al Lowenstein was on the other side now running against my father with Gene McCarthy, my father wrote him a note, a quote from Emerson, where he said, if a single man plant himself firmly on his own ideal and there abide, the whole wide world will come around to him. For 20 years, I've gotten up every morning on my knees and prayed that God would put me in a position where I can end the childhood chronic disease epidemic in this country. On August 23rd of last year, God sent me President Trump.
All right.
And he gave me he's now given me, he's kept every promise that he's made to me. He's kept his word in every account and gone way beyond it. I'm so grateful to you, Mr. President. A lot of people told me that I couldn't trust President Trump. I better get it in writing. And we did a handshake, and everything that he told me he was going to do, he has done.
Right.
And I'm so grateful to him, and I've told you before, I genuinely believe that you are a pivotal historical figure, and you are going to transform this country at a time when we see all of the indicia of democracy now in tatters in our country. We see the rise of the military-industrial complex, the rise of totalitarianism, these attacks on our Constitution, and this breathtaking epidemic that is disabling our people. President Trump has promised to restore the American dream in this country. A healthy person has 1,000 dreams. A sick person only has one. 60% of our population has only one dream, that they get better. President Trump has promised that he's going to restore America's strength. We can't be a strong nation if we have a weak citizenry. If people are sick, 60% of our people are sick, 77%, as President Trump mentioned, of our children cannot qualify for military service. And we need a man on a white horse now. We need somebody who is willing to come in and has the spine and the guts and the strength to challenge orthodoxies, to stand in the way of vested interests, and to break institutions that have turned against our democracy. President Trump has shown again and again that he is that hero. And most recently, I greatly appreciate, and I called you the day that you announced the termination of USAID. My uncle started USAID in 1961 for humanitarian purposes, to put our country on the side of the poor. It has been captured by the military-industrial complex. It has become a sinister propagator of totalitarianism and war across the globe. And very few people understand how sinister this agency really is. And President Trump saw that, and he stood up to it with a masterstroke. And we want to do the same thing with the institutions that are stealing the health of our children. We need a revolutionary figure, and you are that figure, and I'm very grateful for you for giving me this opportunity. I want to recognize some of the allies that I've had in this battle for a long time: Senator Rand Paul, Senator Ron Johnson, Senator Roger Marshall, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Buddy Carter, who've all been champions of the MAHA agenda before I even came along. I'm very grateful for you for standing strong. Thank you very much, President.
Mr. Secretary, I'd like to ask, what plans do you have immediately at HHS now that you're sworn in, sir?
He's going to be running it. He's going to do a great job.
What would you like to
That's my
see
plan.
first?
Going to find out a lot of secrets that have been maybe kept from us, but he's going to come up with some solutions to some big problems, self problems. I think he's going to go down in the record books. I really have confidence. This group has great, even Rand has confidence.
Fire anyone immediately, or what are your plans on day one?
Our plans are radical transparency and returning gold standard science, the NIH, the FDA, and CDC, to ending the corruption, ending the corporate capture of those agencies, getting rid of the people on those panels that have conflicts of interest. We can do unadored and unimpeded science rather than the kind of product that is coming out of those agencies today.
Mr. Secretary, may I ask, how do you address concerns that some Americans may have about the stance on vaccine?
When people actually hear what I think about vaccines, which is common sense, which is vaccines should be tested, they should be safe, everybody should have informed consent, people are reacting because they hear things about me that aren't true. They hear characterizations of things that I've said that are simply not true. And they hear what I have to say actually about vaccines. Everybody supports it.
All right.
Mr. Kennedy, Kara Cashinova from Lindell TV. What's your message to Democrats in the Senate that fought so hard to keep you from taking this position? And congratulations, by the way.
President Trump has promised to be the president for all Americans, and he has said to me that he understands that there's no such thing as Republican children or Democratic children. All of our children need to be protected. And whether you're in a blue state or red state, I'm going to do everything I can to work with you, whether you're Democrat or Republican, restore child's health in this country.
Mr. Secretary.
Great job. Great job. Thank you all very much.
Wild. Absolutely wild.
Yeah, that was great. Absolutely great to see.
Historical moment, man. Really historical moment. I mean, the last great Kennedy. I mean, unless one of those kids does something. I mean, JFK's grandson is a mess. Absolute mess. And yeah, you know, he's in there. Like he said, the last time he was in there was 1961, I believe he said. Oh man, beautiful. Beautiful. I love
long time coming. Well deserved though.
Yeah, definitely. Even as he's giving that speech, I'm like, you know what? If Trump wasn't running, I would not be mad if that guy was president. Like,
oh, 100%.
Solid. For those of you that haven't seen the other episode that I did, you know, quick rundown of what's going on. He is now going to be in charge of the CDC. He is now going, and I'll just stick with the big ones. The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, the FDA, Food and Drug Administration, and also the NIH as well. So just those are the big ones that everybody is really looking at right now. That is what he is going to be in charge of. So can't wait to see what happens next, you know?
Big things are coming.
Yeah, I think his first order of business, I don't know if you heard, California has a weight czar. They have a weight czar, somebody who works on the whole fat phobia stuff going on in the world, and really helps people how to deal with cake related incidents. And I said that correctly. She makes sure that people know, you know, you should be able to eat as much cake as you want. And being big is actually like a really good thing. So I think RFK is going to send her to jail. I think that's going to be his first order of business. First order of business, he's going to be like, lock her up. Oh man, but it is true. They do have that. She's a weight czar apparently.
Yeah, she's definitely overweight herself too. But you know, she's normalized that. I don't know how we can go ahead and do that.
Whoa. What are you, fat phobic, bro? What do you have?
No, not in the least bit. What I am is I am pro healthy. You got to be healthy. You got to take care of yourself. It's important. And man, we can't really normalize being unhealthy as this thing that we should be applauding people for it and encouraging it, while also demonizing a bunch of people who go to the gym, because apparently they're doing that too these days.
Yeah. Going to the gym is like a right wing thing. You shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
But it's wild. Like, you really do need to stay in health. Like you said, you've been affected by the health. I've been affected by it. Like, you know, my dad passed away from cancer, and that was because, you know, he neglected his health. You know, he drank a huge portion of his life, smoked like crazy, and yeah, he ended up passing from cancer. And it was just it's terrible. It's terrible. And you know, I'll say it's avoidable. Sometimes it does happen. It happens to healthy people all the time, but you know, in his case, and I know in your family's case, like that stuff's avoidable. Like you can work towards not having things like that happen. So I'm just glad that there's somebody in this position who is going to be a beacon for the entire country of what we should be doing, you know, especially since he's jacked and he's like 71, you know.
I think he's also like looking into different diets and the benefits that it has on existing, you know, health conditions as well. And, you know, how to help. It's so meaningful because if you do that, the entire country as a whole can start healing in a meaningful way. And I'm all for it.
Yeah. I can't wait to see what he does. Like, this is one person that's going to take this job. Like, they're all going to take their job seriously. I mean, you know, I I have a video of Pete Hegseth. He's taking the job very seriously. But this is like God given to him. Like he really wants to handle this, and he already has a plan. So I can't wait to see him and Jay Bhattacharya working together. And also, he has the power to say, I want all Fauci's emails. I want them all now. He does, bro. He does. He has that power right now. Right now, he has the power to say, everybody take a leave of absence from work. No one touch their computers. I want all the emails. I'm just saying, I don't know what he's going to do, but he now has that authority. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
As long as they don't destroy it, right?
That's why with USAID and with the CFB or PB, Elizabeth Warren's brainchild, they did have to put people on a leave of absence and bar them from their computers. And everybody was like, oh, authoritarian. But it's like, no. You need to have to leave your computers alone because you might destroy all your emails.
Yeah.
You know, you might destroy all correspondence and this and that. Elon Musk is still, speaking of Elon is actually really upset because there were certain emails at Twitter where he made a FOIA request of information where there were employees contacting the FBI and it all got destroyed. And he's like, that's literally my information. Like, not only as a citizen am I requesting FOIA, he's like, that's mine. It's mine. I should be able to see what those correspondence were. And he can't now. So that was a big thing in the Twitter files, that they actually got a hold of some of the files that he needed. So yeah, you have to bar these people from their computers while you're trying to figure everything out. And we'll see. Do you know the NIH?
That's why.
Sorry, I was going to say, the NIH, they had the ability to make royalties on certain things. I won't name those things, but there's royalties involved.
Why won't you name them?
Because.
I want to hear the list, Coach. I want to hear the list. Let's go. I'm sure everybody wants to also.
I'm sure RFK will bring you that list very, very soon. He has to do it first, If I do it, I'm a crazy tinfoil Speedo guy. But when he does it, it'll become, factual. But anything else on that topic? Because I was going to move on to auditing politicians quickly.
No, I mean, honestly speaking, I'm so happy to see this happening. I think that Americans themselves are going to reap benefits for generations to come because of the work that RFK is about to do. And I got to say, though, they got to do whatever they can to keep Fauci and all those who are supporters of him from deleting the information, because RFK is going to have another book to write. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it's going to be a lot better than the first one. Things are about to get real interesting. Let's find out.
Yeah, seriously. All right. Elon Musk and Trump, they were talking about just auditing politicians. I don't know if you heard about this. I did an episode on it. It's funny. I say I don't know if you heard about this, but also Hank's my editor. So it's like he kind of hears about it, but not always, because you're not going to sit down and listen to every single thing I have to say. You hear enough of my voice already, but yeah, this is something that actually happened, and I can't wait to see the results of it. But I bring it up for a certain reason, and I'm going to play the clip, and then we're going to talk about it here.
To have the resources necessary to provide things to its citizens and not simply be servicing vast amounts of debt.
And also, could you mention some of the things that your team has found, some of the crazy numbers, including the woman that walked away with about 30 million?
Right.
Etc.
Well, we do find it sort of rather odd that there are quite a few people in the bureaucracy who have ostensibly a salary of a few $100,000, but somehow manage to accrue tens of millions of dollars in net worth while they are in that position, which is what happened to USAID. We're just curious as to where it came from. Maybe they're very good at investing, in which case we should take their investment advice, perhaps. But just there seems to be mysteriously they get wealthy. We don't know why. Where does it come from? And I think the reality is that they're getting wealthy at the taxpayer expense. That's the honest truth of it. So we're looking at if you look at say Treasury, for example, basic controls that should be in place that are in place in any company, such as making sure that any given payment has a payment categorization code, that there is a comment field that describes the payment, and that if a payment is on the do not pay list, that you don't actually pay it. None of those things are true currently. So the reason that departments can't pass audits is because the payments don't have a categorization code. It's like just a massive number of blank checks just flying out the building.
That's a big statement right there. Massive amount of checks, just blank checks is flying out of the building. But, you know, back to what Trump said at the beginning when he prompted Elon Musk to talk about the politicians becoming wealthy out of nowhere. He brings up this woman who made $30 million. And I was asking the people, the audience, I was saying, who is this lady? I couldn't figure it out. I thought it was Elizabeth Warren. I checked her out. It wasn't her. But then finally, somebody in the comments, shout out to whoever said this, and I'm sure there was a couple of you. It's actually, and again, this is what Trump thinks. Okay, I'm not putting any theories out here. This is actually who Trump is talking about. Her name is Samantha Power, apparently. And her net worth went from 6.7 million, which how? And then it shot up to about 30 million. And she's been fired. She was the head of the USAID, one of the heads, I should say. And here's her just talking a little bit about how shocked she was as she got fired.
Well, you can imagine when you suddenly in your inbox find a termination notice or a leave of absence notice that you didn't expect to get on a flawed predicate that you're doing radical leftist insubordination. It's pretty jarring. And because there's so many lies and falsehoods circulating, and so many claims that people are sort of not with the program, I think people are just completely dislocated. There's no stable ground on which to walk. And then, of course, most of them have been laid off, so they're worried about how they're going to pay the bills and how they're going to make rent. But maybe the part that is the most striking and for me inspiring, if not surprising, having worked there for 4 years, is that, you know, the people who work at USAID did not come to work at USAID for the money. The civil servants, the foreign servants, the contractors, they came to USAID because they wanted to make a difference in the world, because they saw America's interests as tied up with the interests of people, vulnerable people around the world. And so even as they're struggling to figure out how to make rent, all of a sudden, they're most struggling with the fear that so many millions of people who relied on us as a country, on USAID as an agency, but on them as individuals, that those individuals out in the world have no place to turn. And indeed, they're showing up and finding health clinics shuttered and soup kitchens closed and advisors who were helping governments renegotiate debt with China. Those advisors, now taken off the books. So just the wreckage in the world is what the USAID staff that I'm in touch with are carrying with them. That's what's keeping them up at night, as much as the question of, what am I going to do tomorrow? And, how do I take care of my family?
No sympathy for these people at USAID that got fired. Like, she should give them a spot. She should spot them some money, hand everybody over $100,000, help them float through the year. Why not?
When you're floating money overseas to ridiculous things that you don't have money for your own people, no sympathy is deserved at that point.
That's the exact thing, right? Like, I get what she's talking about, and yeah, it might be a shock to a lot of people who got let go, but they're doing the same things to American citizens every day for years, and they're just no problem with it. They're just like, this is how it works. This is how it works. No problem. No problem. It's I say it all the time. Kensington, Philadelphia. It's an open air drug den. It's still like that. Where was the millions of dollars for that initiative to get those people off the street, to help them? You have people who are pretty much sacrificing their life. Joe Rogan actually interviewed one of them where they pretty much give up their whole life, and all they do is just try to help those people. They have, like, they're Christian. They have kind of like a ministry thing going on, and they just find those people, and whoever is willing to get help, they help them the best they can. And they don't get all this funding. They definitely don't get millions and millions of dollars. And they have to live these very humble lives, and they have to live amongst all of that because that's what they decided to do. Whereas this lady, this William Dafoe lookalike, she gets to just have $30 million. And funny enough, Elon Musk was the first person to comment on it right here. And he said right away, he's like, how did she accumulate wealth that is 100 times her after-tax salary?
Yeah.
It's a good question. It's a good question. I'd love to know. And
I mean, I was going to say we're going to find out soon, but you know, another thing that's interesting that just came up too is Elon Musk is going ahead and auditing the IRS now too.
Oh yeah. Of course that's happening. Trump's not playing around. Trump is not playing around. Like,
yeah.
RFK is going to become like Doge for the healthcare industry. He's going to be seeing what inefficiencies are there. Elon Musk is going everywhere. He's going to the Pentagon. He's going IRS. He's going everywhere. But when it comes to this lady, Trump actually mentioned this woman 3 times in 3 separate press conferences, interviews. He always alludes to this woman. He's like 30 million. How did she walk away with 30 million? And I don't know. When Trump keeps on mentioning someone, it's a little different because nobody's prompting him. Nobody's like, who's Samantha Power? No one's saying that to him. He's just like on his own. He's bringing her up randomly. So that means you have the eye of Sauron on you right now. like this is, he's not joking around with this. He wants to know what happened with this lady. So yeah, I can't wait. So thank you for to the comment section for letting me know who this woman was, because I could not figure it out. I didn't hear about this lady at all. But we'll see. We'll see what happens now. But yeah. The IRS thing. Let me just pull that up. Pretty sure you sent it to me. Let me see here. There it is.
Yeah, Doge has just entered their building. So that's an ongoing. Yeah, in the last couple hours, they have now entered the IRS building in DC.
What's gonna happen? It's going to be, sadly, it's going to be the same thing as before. The same thing with USAID. The same thing with Elizabeth Warren's brainchild. It's literally just going to be, I'm resigning. The heads of the organization are going to be like, I am done with all this. You're seizing power. Goodbye. Oh, man. Probably jumping on planes trying to go to places that don't have extradition with the United States. They're like, where can I go? Let's go to Russia or something. But yeah, it says right here, breaking Doge officials have just entered the IRS building in DC to begin their investigation into the agency. Let's see here. This comes after ex-users overwhelmingly voted for Doge to dig into the IRS days ago. We the people are in charge of the government again. This is Elon Musk asking.
How amazing is that?
So the poll, if you can't see, it says, would you like Doge to audit the IRS? It's yes, F yes, or no. You know who said, these 8% of people who said no, those are people that work for the IRS.
100%.
They're like, no, please. Oh man, but that's incredible.
I mean, they wanted to hire 20,000 new staff over like a 2-year period. We're about to find. Yeah, they wanted to. About 20,000 staff was expected to be hired over a 2-year period a couple years ago. I think in 2023.
Honestly, I think it's more. I think it's
it's possible.
I think it was 87,000 that they wanted to get going. Patrick Bet-David actually spoke on it. IRS agents. Let me see if I can find it here.
It's going to get interesting. Let's find out why they needed 20,000 or 87,000, whatever the number is. It's absurd.
Here it is. Let me just play what Patrick Bet-David had to say about it quickly.
It's interesting you said, by the way, it's great to be on with you folks here, but 6%, right? We're talking 6% of our 2 million employees that work for the government actually go to the office. So when President Trump said, we'll give you a plan 8 months, listen, you don't want to come back, no problem, here's an allowance for you. 8 months later, you got to figure out in the free market how it's going to work. It is what it is. I love that. But let's stay on this here. Here's my question for you. So why is it that they are all about hiring more IRS agents to audit you? Whoever's watching this, they want to audit you. They want to find that if you didn't pay $600 in taxes, they want to come and collect it from you. Whoever's watching this right now, but God forbid We audit the wasted expenditure the government has. Oh, no, no, no. We are politicians. We are very good people. We are people that we know what we're doing because we got this fancy degree, but we should audit the people because the people out there are not paying their fair share. What if the government's got a lot of wasted money? What if the government's doing a lot of stuff that we don't know anything about? And by the way, they started off with the USAID. Once they get into, and that was only a $40-50 billion budget, what are they going to do when it gets into DHS? And what is it going to happen when we get into Medicare, Medicaid? Money's being funneled all over the place. Accountability is on its way, and the American people are ecstatic.
Yeah. So even here, he corrected himself because he didn't know the number, but he posted, he said they're okay with hiring 87,000 new agents to audit you, but no interest in Doge auditing them. 100%. Funny how that works, huh?
Accountability, right?
They're like, audit us. How dare you? How dare you?
Corruption at its finest.
Crazy. I can't wait to see what they find. And I mean, you know, the best case scenario is that they don't find anything. Like that's what everybody's hoping, is that everything's just on the up and up. I mean, you know, you don't really want to work against the people who are supposed to be, you know, running the government. You don't want to be completely against them. You're hoping that they're doing a good job. You know, like I didn't want to have to report on Biden being, you know, a bad president. I was hoping he'd be a good president. Like that would be great. If he did what Trump did, I'd be like, hey, Biden's amazing, guys. Like he's great. Like if he was doing what Trump's doing right now, it's just he wasn't. So, you know, we're hoping the IRS isn't pulling a Biden, is what I'm saying.
But Coach, hear this out though, okay? They were caught targeting conservatives. Okay.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
That's a huge deal. So I'm all for this. Accountability needs to come for the IRS.
Yeah, of course.
That's as corrupt as you can get.
You just hope that they're doing they were doing the right thing. I mean, that's what you're hoping. You hope that they look into it and it's like everything's above board and they're performing just under their budget every single year and they're doing what they're supposed to do. And you know, that's what the hope is, but that's not what we've been seeing so far in Doge's investigations. So it's sad. It's sad, but necessary. Like you said, accountability is key. I 100% agree with that. Moving on, I guess, Pam Bondi announcing that she is, let me pull it back so I have the proper timestamps here. I have like 3 timestamps. Pam Bondi actually suing Letitia James and Kathy Hochul. This is crazy. This is crazy. And, you know, it's very necessary. Also, I can't lie. This, I guess this has to happen. We'll go over what this is all about, but she actually breaks down why she is suing them as well here.
Good afternoon. I'm sorry we were a little bit late. I was in the West Wing swearing in Tulsi Gabbard, and so I just came straight back here. So thanks for being patient with us with the delay. We're here today because we have filed charges against the state of New York. We have filed charges against Kathy Hochul. We have filed charges against Letitia James and Mark Schroeder, who is with DMV. This is a new DOJ, and we are taking steps to protect Americans, American citizens, and angel moms, like the mom standing right behind me, who you're going to hear from in a moment. New York has chosen to prioritize illegal aliens over American citizens. It stops. As you know, we sued Illinois, and New York didn't listen. So now you're next. Millions of illegal aliens with violent records have flooded into our communities, bringing violence and deadly drugs with them. With me today, I'm so proud to be joined by Tammy Nobles. Tammy is an angel mom. Her beautiful daughter, Kayla Hamilton, was murdered by an MS-13 member in 2022. Kayla had just turned 20 years old, and she was raped and murdered by someone who should not have been in our country. Yet he was released, flown to Maryland, where he committed this violent murder. I just want you to hear from, Tammy. Tammy represents not only herself and her family, but all of the great angel moms around this country who have suffered because of what the Biden administration did, and it is over.
So that was the first part of the, I guess, press conference, you can call it. But I guess they've had to do this before. I didn't actually realize that part. She mentioned another state where they actually had to do this, which is pretty crazy. I don't know why these people are resisting. I actually wanted to go into that. Actually, let me pull up. I'm going to duplicate this this clip here because another timestamp that I have here, 555. This is the only type of stuff, just for anyone watching, this is the only type of stuff I can't repost to X. But anything you see that is via X, I will be reposting as always. Let's jump into the next clip that I have here. Share this tab. Perfect. Let's go.
Next, get ready. And the great men and women of law enforcement are standing behind me today. We have FBI, DEA, ATF agents. They put their lives on the line every single day to protect us. And what New York has, they have green light laws, meaning they're giving a green light to any illegal alien in New York where law enforcement officers cannot check their identity if they pull them over. Law enforcement officers do not have access to their background. And if these great men and women pull over someone and don't have access to their background, they have no idea who they're dealing with. And it puts their lives on the line every single day. Violent criminals, gang members, drug traffickers, human smugglers will no longer terrorize the American people. And that is why we are here today. You will be held accountable if you do not follow federal law. It's over, it ends, and we're coming after you. Questions?
We have time for a few questions. David Spot with Fox News.
Madam Attorney General, thank you and welcome to the Justice Department.
Thank you.
I have a quick on-topic and a quick off-topic
Sure.
question. On-topic, in your executive order, or in your orders on the first day you were here, you talked about working with the Justice Department or these sanctuary cities, as you say, will be punished. Today you're putting people on notice. Right now, we're just lawsuits. Is this going to go further? What kind of punishment are we talking about? Is there any grounds to charge individuals, charge politicians? How far is this going to go?
Well, we're going to see what they do next, David. We have sued them all. We personally sued the governor, the attorney general, Letitia James, and Mark Schroeder with DMV because he has the green light laws. So what they have to do, they have to start complying with federal law. If they don't, we're going to appeal it and we will win. They have to comply with federal law. Did you have a second question?
Wow. I did not realize that that was the green light law. I'll be honest. You can't check ID if pulled over. How does that even make sense?
Yeah, they're also forced to tip them off as well.
Tip them off in case of ICE, you mean?
If there's any investigations around them, they have to tip them off too.
Really?
Yeah. If you played that clip a little bit longer, you would have heard that. Yeah, it's really disturbing.
Here, let me see. It was 8 minutes. Here, let me see if they say anything about that.
Elon Musk, who has enormous influence in the Trump administration, posted on X, quote, there needs to be an immediate wave of judicial impeachments, not just one. As the Attorney General of the United States, how do you respond to that? Shouldn't the process work out in the courts before we talk about judicial impeachments? I mean, these are just TROs now at this time. Shouldn't these just play out?
Yeah, I haven't seen Elon Musk tweet. He is a friend of mine. He is a great man. I think he's very frustrated with what's happening in our federal government. You know, at USAID alone, they're giving out billions of dollars that should not be distributed. We're going to back him up. You know, we work our whole lives in this country and we all pay taxes in this country. And for people to find out that $2 million is going to Guatemala for sex changes is outrageous.
Yeah, no, it's not there if you play it longer. I thought it would be in the next question or so, but no, that's not it. But yeah, I got another timestamp here. So yeah, that's the green light law. Can't check ID if you're pulled over. Isn't that the point of being pulled over? Like if you're speeding, they check your ID.
I mean, they could check your ID, I think, no, but they can't look into your background.
Can't
look you up on the computer.
Can't look you up on the computer. What if it's
to
fake?
see if there's any. I mean, what can you do, right? I mean, it's very possibly fake.
Oh man, that's something else here. Let me just jump over here really quick.
Coach, we've seen this on and on again. I mean, like Lakin Riley, we've seen this Rachel Morin, Jocelyn Ungari. So many innocent women have been murdered by these people. Like there has to be accountability, but they gotta really go a lot harder than that. I'm happy to see Pam Bondi is doing something, but I want to see something more. I want to see.
Well, this is in response to ICE being able to do what they need to do because this is the response to that. There's nothing. I want to say there's nothing more they can do, but deportation is the main focus. So if there is this green light law, what is it? Green light law allows immigrants over. Okay, so. It allows immigrants over the age of 16, including undocumented immigrants, to apply for a driver's license using their current documentation. Okay. This law prohibits the DMV from sharing information with Homeland Security. That's the issue. Okay. So that makes sense. That's why she has a big issue with that, because they need that information so they can know who's illegal, because they're trying to, and this is, from me listening to so much Tom Homan and everything, what they want to do is not have to do raids, because raids could be dangerous. They could be dangerous for the community. They could be dangerous for the people that they even want to deport, and they could be dangerous for the officers involved. So Tom Homan, he was receiving resistance because he was saying things like, okay, well, just let us into the jails. If there's an illegal person there, he's already in jail. We can just take him out of the jail, and that's very smooth. There were mayors of sanctuary cities who were like, no, we won't allow you to do that. So it didn't make any sense. He was like, these are violent offenders. They've already committed crimes. He's like, this just makes sense. And they're like, no, this would be another smooth way of doing it. Somebody gets pulled over, traffic violation, whatever, what have you. The DMV just in general, just ICE going to the DMV and saying, hey, can you just give us a list of everybody who's undocumented or illegal? And the DMV, I guess, Mark Schroeder, I believe she said his name is just saying no. So that's a big problem. The big thing that's happening here is that the mayors and the governors and the people who are resisting this, they're resisting the smoothest, most peaceful ways of having these people extracted. That's the big problem, because they can't really stop the raids. But it's like the smooth ways that could be completely nonviolent. They're resisting those. I think I don't know. It's pretty wild in my opinion.
Yeah, well, they're also tipping them off too.
Yeah, there's that as well, right? I've been seeing stuff like that. I've been seeing, there was one guy, I can't find the clip, but he was even talking about how he has an undocumented woman living in his attic. He was a politician, and he's like, and let's see the federal government come and take them. Like, it was such a weird clip. It's really getting unhinged. Here's the last timestamp from this whole press conference.
Sure. First of all, can you just briefly walk us through what the legal claims are you're making in this lawsuit?
Yeah, absolutely. So the green light laws are that this is what the green light law says. It's a green light to illegal immigration, which says they can comply. That law is unconstitutional. They can't do that. And what they've done is they have a tip-off provision that requires New York's DMV commissioner to promptly inform any illegal alien when a federal immigration agency has requested their information. So think about the men and women in law enforcement behind me. That's basically, that's not basic, it's tipping off an illegal alien, and it's unconstitutional. And that's why we filed this lawsuit. And that's why we charged Mark Schroeder too, because he runs DMV. Oh, I'm sorry, you had a second question.
Yeah, my off-topic question. I wanted to ask about Mayor
Yes.
Adams' case. As of at least a few moments ago, SDNY still has not dropped that case. Have you or other DOJ leadership spoken to the acting U.S. attorney and SDNY since the memo was sent earlier this week? And what will you do if she refuses to drop the case?
I have not. spoken to her. I know our acting DAG, Emil Bove, has spoken to her, and Chad Mizell may have spoken to her, but that case should be dropped. It was done at the directive of Emil, so that case should be dropped. I did not know that it had not been dropped yet, but I will certainly look into that. Hi, how are you?
Tom Homan suggested this week that someone from within the FBI may be leaking information about the ICE raids and that such could be putting officers' lives at risk. Has the DOJ gotten any closer to determining if these leaks are coming from within the FBI? And what will the consequences be if they can identify the leakers from the FBI?
Excuse me. Well, first, I can't talk about anything that is ongoing, and that is ongoing. And it's really for the similar reasons of what I said earlier. The great men and women in law enforcement standing behind me today, they must be protected. If any time anyone leaks or tips off anything regarding a pending investigation, that jeopardizes lives. You're telling a bad guy what's about to happen. It could jeopardize the lives of all the men and women in law enforcement. We will not stand for it. We will find you. We're going to investigate it, no matter what agency it came from. We don't know for certain. We have an open investigation, so I can't talk about it in detail, but we will do everything in our power to hold you accountable, and it is a crime, and you will be prosecuted when we find you.
I got time for one more. Alana Austin is next.
So that's the gist of that. Just wanted to bring people the highlights of that whole thing. Interesting, man. Interesting, especially the tipping off that they think is coming from the FBI. I find that crazy, just crazy. Oh man.
Well, we need Cash to quickly, right?
Yeah, right. Cash would be able to verify if that was actually happening. Get rid of the people who are doing it for sure, and they'd probably be criminally charged. Quite honestly, I don't think that would just be a firing, but also it's just interesting. And I talked about this with you on the phone. It's interesting that New York is doing this because you have Eric Adams saying that this issue is going to destroy the city, right? And then you have Kathy Hochul herself, who's also named in this whole lawsuit. She was saying, we're at capacity. We can't do this anymore. You know, please, if you come to this country, go somewhere else. Like she's asking them, stop coming to New York. So you know that you're at capacity. You know you've spent, I would venture to say hundreds of millions of dollars on this whole thing. Why wouldn't you just work with ICE and allow this to happen? And, I asked this rhetorically because I know the answer. It's just because they don't want to work with Trump. It's Trump's that person right now, especially when you're on the left, as they are, that if he says something needs to happen, they just go the opposite way, even if it means the detriment of the citizens that are inside of their state. It's crazy.
I think it goes deeper than that. I think if they admit that there's serious wrongdoing and they do not stick to the script, that they're going to lose some of the kickbacks they've been getting from organizations like USAID. Well, that's what I suspect.
USA is already done. That's already done.
That's one of them, though. I'm sure there's many just like that.
Well, I'm just saying, like in terms of USAID, any kickbacks, that's already finished. I think it's not deeper than that. I think it's actually just Trump, because here's the thing: if Trump said we need to defend Ukraine, AOC would be the first person to be like, Ukraine needs to just find a way to make peace, or like she'd be completely against it. Whatever he says, they go against. And it doesn't matter if it's good or not. Trump could come out tomorrow and be like, trans lives matter. And they'd be like, well, let me tell you something about those people. They would rail against it. They've shown that the entire time, from the first for the first term throughout his whole campaign to the second term. It's just everything opposite of what Trump wants. And I think there's an aspect, and obviously, what you're saying could be very true as well. We don't actually know, but I think there's an aspect of virtue signaling to it. Eric Adams said that it's going to destroy the city, and 2 weeks later he was raided and indicted. 2 weeks later, Trump even said at not the inaugural dinner, at the dinner where they make fun of Trump, or like they make fun of like the president and everything like that. it's like a very cordial dinner where both sides kind of come together, and it's very comedic. Kamala was supposed to be there, but she didn't attend. She just left a message. He even said to Eric Adams, he's like, this is clearly lawfare. He's like, I saw what they did to you. He's like, they did it to me. He's like, I know what this is, so I don't know. It's wild. Now the DOJ already reversed that whole thing with Eric Adams because he's willing to play ball now. It's just, I don't know. It's very, very interesting to see all this play out, because they're fighting it tooth and nail. And again, I think it goes deeper than any kind of kickbacks, because if you have to live in Chicago, we'll just use Chicago as an example. How much money can you, if you have to live in a place, how much money can you be given for that place to burn to the ground? You're still there. You still have to be there. It gets to a point where it looks like negligence, and then you're going to be on the hook for that. So it's like, how much could they really even give you for you to do that? It's not like you can leave. It's not like, Brandon Johnson, the mayor of Chicago. It's not like he can spend most of his time in the Cayman Islands. He has to be in Chicago. So it's like, how bad are you going to you could be a millionaire, but you're still there. It's going to be a problem. It's like Karen Bass. She's the mayor of LA. She's had her house broken into twice while she was there. B&Es, home invasion type stuff. Twice. It's happened 2 times, 2 separate times. I don't know. It's just crazy to me. I can't comprehend. I can't do it.
I mean, look, it's kind of like a cult, a religion. So, I mean, we're talking common sense over here, but when you subscribe to that religion, common sense is just not so common. And they're going to just deviate and find other ways to explain it and justify it. And it's an ongoing circumstance. It does tie into the TDS circumstance that you're saying, but I can't help but think there's something going on there financially. There's got to be some incentives along with it too.
I think it's a bit of both. I think it's a bit of both. And the theory that you have is yet to be uncovered, but it's starting to make sense as they, do their audits and their probes and everything. So
it'd be like blackmail too as well. I mean, look what happened with Maxine Waters. There's a video I sent to you just yesterday, I think. About her, she's clearly worried about Doge looking into her. She was like, "What does Musk have on everyone, including me?" She was really worried. She explicitly stated that on video.
Yeah, she's like, "We don't know what he has on us." It's like, oh God, what are you doing?
Right. It's specifically on us, right? I wonder what she has to hide there, Coach. Let's find out.
Yeah, it's interesting. Oh, the Doge is also going to be auditing the Pentagon, and Hegseth had this to say about the whole thing.
Musk and Doge and Pentagon potentially in the next few weeks. Do you expect him to start unilaterally cutting programs and contracts the way he's done at USAID and other agencies? And are there any limits or supervision you'd want to place on his team given his conflicts of interest with Pentagon?
Well, we've been in touch with, I've been in touch with Elon Musk, who's a great patriot, interested in advancing the America First agenda, knows that President Trump got 77 million votes and a mandate from the American people, and part of that is bringing actual business-like efficiency to government, hence what Doge is doing. We've been talking to them in partnership with them, and as I said on social media, we welcome Doge to the Pentagon. And I hope to welcome Elon to the Pentagon very soon, and his team, working in collaboration with us. There are waste, redundancies, and headcounts in headquarters that need to be addressed. There's just no doubt. Look at a lot of the climate programs that have been pursued at the Defense Department. The Defense Department is not in the business of climate change, solving the global thermostat. We're in the business of deterring and winning wars. So things like that, we want to look for to find efficiencies, and many others, the way we acquire weapon system, procurement. There's plenty of places where we want the keen eye of Doge, but we'll do it in coordination. We're not going to do things that are to the detriment of American operational or tactical capabilities. President Trump is committed to delivering the best possible military. The Defense Department is not USAID. USAID's got a lot of problems that I talked about with the troops pursuing globalist agendas that don't have a connection to America First. That's not the Defense Department, but we're also not perfect either. So where we can find billions of dollars, and he's right to say billions, inside the Defense Department. Every dollar we save there is a dollar that goes to warfighters, and that's good for the American people.
Amazing how open he is to it. Yeah, he's just like, let's go. Like, you know, like if if it was the former person, they might have just been like,
You talked about wanting to
I resign.
welcome Elon.
I resign. I'm out of here. Bye. You guys are fascists. Goodbye.
Well, I mean, he doesn't have to be worried about all the corruption that they're going to find. It has nothing to do with him.
100%. 100%. Now, I don't know how you keep finding this news here as we're doing this, but more breaking news. Let's pull that up. Hold on here. Let me make sure I got this. But we were just speaking about New York, so this is an excellent find. Let's look at this. Let's see what's going on here. Eric Adams is and I just said this. Didn't I just say he's playing ball? This is exactly what I mean by he's playing
And that's
ball.
why I sent it to you, because you just mentioned that. So I'm multitasking over here, Coach.
It says NYC Mayor Eric Adams just signed an executive order allowing ICE to use the infamous Rikers Island jail for housing illegal detainees. Adams was forced to do so after Trump and DHS Secretary Noem clawed back all the money for luxury hotels for illegals. Enjoy your new home. Wow. I mean, good. I mean, Eric Adams has come around because, there's an administration that, doesn't want to see him, indicted, and, they're willing to be okay with him if he's willing to, stop doing what he's doing to New York. So I like that. I like that he's doing that, have a place to actually house them. It shows cooperation, and it shows that Eric Adams is now railing against Kathy Hochul and Letitia James at the same time. Like I think we hear in the next 3 months, we hear an announcement from him being a Republican. I think that's what we hear from him very soon.
Well, Coach, what I think is going on over here too as well, it has to do with all the money that's got clawed back, right? I mean, they have to find a way to pay for these. I mean, they're 59 million that was clawed back immediately. I think the bill may even be a bit larger than that too as well. And they're going to have to cut services or something from the budget in order to afford it. So I think this is probably one of those ways of helping pay for it.
Yeah, definitely. So, interesting that's happening now. So they don't have to take them all the way to Guantanamo Bay now. Now they have a New York helping out a little bit. They were about to pay El Salvador as well to start housing people. That still might be in the works. I don't know if you heard that. El Salvador was offering to take people who are illegals of any kind and also violent criminals who are Americans as well. The president of El Salvador was like, anybody. He's like, whoever you got. He's like, we'll take a small fee. He's like, we'll take whoever you got because we know how to lock them up well, and we know how to. They're stacking people over in El Salvador. They're stacking people up. They got no mercy over there.
It's also going to, if they do it, it would save the taxpayers tons of money as well, because it's a fraction of the cost of housing them, on U.S. soil.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, I wouldn't just send any criminal there, but like a very violent offender, send them over there as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we'll wait and see on that. But for now, in the case of the illegals, now they're going to be staying over at Rikers Island. So that's interesting. I think we're going to see Eric Adams become a full-blooded Republican very soon. Also, I just want to say Kash Patel, Senate Judiciary Committee, has advanced Kash Patel out of the committee, and he is now headed to the final full Senate confirmation vote to become the next director of the FBI. That's going to be very soon. I think tomorrow. It should be tomorrow. If they really put this off until next week, I think there's something going on. I think somebody was asked about this as well. Was it Adam Schiff? I can't find the clip. I think Adam Schiff was just asked about this as well, because they're putting off his confirmation hearing, and they're thinking that they're doing it for a reason, because Kash is going to come in and be very stern about this. And they've had a lot of people threaten to quit in the FBI if he does get in, and no one's hearing it. No one cares. No one in the Trump administration cares. They're like, go. Go. You want something? You want a buyout? Trump's like, no problem. You want 8 months of pay? Leave immediately. Like, go ahead. I don't care.
Well, I mean,
Trump's
cash
ready.
plans to let a lot of them go anyways. So, I mean, they're just making his job easier. So,
Exactly. That's exactly it, right? So yeah, that's pretty much the last thing I had over here. I mean, yeah, there wasn't much else. Can you think of anything else that is like currently going on? Oh, you got Maxine Waters there. Here, I'll play
yeah.
that.
Well, I got something else for you too over here, Coach. But yeah, go ahead and give that a play too if you want.
Yeah, here, hold on. She's very scared. I don't know what they got on us.
This country are being violated because all of our privacy is being taken up by Elon Musk and Trump, and we don't know what all they have on us. We don't know what all they have on us. The people of this.
I love that it was reposted by Elon, and he just puts that emoji there. He puts the thinking emoji. He's just like, what does she mean by that?
We're gonna dig a little deeper into that one, I hope.
Yeah, I mean, eventually that's where it's gonna go, right? I mean, they're talking about auditing politicians, and we'll see where all that leads. But what was the other thing that you had? Let's make sure it's.
I just sent it over to you. If you can, I can say it, but I'd rather you just put it up there.
Let me see. You just sent it. It's underneath Maxine.
Yeah, that's where you'll find it, Coach.
Oh, that whole thing. Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess we'll get into it. Yeah, why not? Let's just jump into it really quick. I don't want to go too hard on it because you're not as seasoned. You're not as seasoned as I am in podcasting. You're gonna say wild stuff. I know you.
We'll walk the fine line. We'll do it. We'll have some fun here, Coach.
Here, let's play it.
Right now, a federal judge has just paused President Trump's executive order restricting gender-affirming care for people under the age of 19. A group of patients' families suing to block the order. It is now on hold while the case works its way through the court. So that is the latest on that. We've seen a lot of this, obviously, push and pull in the court system as all of this moves very quickly. Also, all right, breaking right now.
So, I mean, this is going to happen continuously with the things that Trump tries to do. They tried to do this when they tried to block 2,200 USAID employees being put on leave. And again, back to the reason that they were put on leave was because, they wanted them barred from the buildings. They wanted them barred from their emails. They did not want these people to be able to access anything, move anything around. We're going to continuously see these judges trying to block the things that Trump is doing. I don't know. I think it's getting a little ridiculous. I'm not going to say that judges shouldn't be able to do stuff like this, but at the same time, I think the president should be given the room to do what he needs to do. You know what I mean? Like, this is a big thing. This is akin to them. Imagine them trying to block what he just did for, women's sports. And they go, no, this is blocked until, like, the things that he's doing are trying to protect certain classes of people. And this class of people that he's trying to protect are children. So it's like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. And I know they're just doing it because it's Trump. It's not right, in my opinion.
I mean, look, Coach, I have to bite my tongue here, but what I will tell you is anybody that's on this side over here, they got to get looked into. They have to.
Yeah.
This ain't right.
Yeah.
It ain't right one bit.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's just, I've talked about this at length on the main channel, just about the virtue signaling and until you're pretty much just at your own detriment, trying to help until it gets to a point where you're hurting. And I think that's where this whole thing is at. I don't know. I think, listen, I know I'm biased and I'm always able to see my biases and I always make sure to bring that up. I am biased. I think Trump is a great president. He has the room to do whatever he needs to do, but I'm not blind to this. This is a good thing that he's doing. This is not my bias speaking. This is a good thing to have this not happen to children who are young, really young.
Yep.
You know, just like give them some time, man. Give them some time. Let them vote first. Just give them some time.
Yeah, they'll figure it out one way or the other.
Yeah, like just give
Some
them
will
some
go one
time.
way, some will go the other way, but give them that time to figure out their way.
Yeah,
the right way.
It's just nuts. It's one of the sadder things that's happening right now, you know. But yeah, thank you for bringing that. What do you have like 2 monitors, don't you? That's why
No.
you're able to. You don't? Oh, not
No.
on this machine. You only have the one. Oh,
Just
well.
one really, really, really big one, Coach.
One. Oh, true.
Yeah.
So you can like section it off, kind of thing. I'm on
Yeah.
the small laptop here. It's like that big, right? So I'm like,
We'll get you that upgrade, Coach. We'll get you that upgrade.
yeah,
Don't
yeah.
worry.
Soon enough, I'm gonna do the upgrades and everything. You know.
Yeah.
Or you know, I groom you into Jamie, and I slowly become Joe Rogan, and I start taking TRT, and I start eating elk meat, and I start hunting. You know. And
Get me some of that TRT while you're at it too. All right, Coach. They won't give it to me, but if I was told them I was a little girl saying I'm a boy, maybe they'd give it to me. Isn't that something, huh?
Oh man, but yeah. Thank you for bringing all that up. But yeah, we're almost at an hour and a half here. I told you I just wanted to go an hour and a half. You know, again, anybody who's watching until this moment, you know, we're trying to do this. We're working on it. We just found a different program to use, so it looks a little better here. Hope you guys enjoy that. And now we have it a little more streamlined, so we'll be able to just sit down and do this. I'm hoping to do it twice a week. That would be really cool to be able to do. But yeah, other than that, I think we should just, oh, there it is. Perfect. I was going to say, leave it off with this here. Don't forget, like I told you guys, Hank Unfiltered, that is the channel. Go ahead and hit him up. He's making some videos, and you know, you got 600 and some odd subscribers. You don't have to bite your tongue as much over there. You can go wild over there if you want.
Oh, I plan to. I really lay into people like Kathy Hochul and other, you know, just wait and see. It's coming. It's coming.
I got an enterprise over here. I'm trying to look after.
I hear you, Coach. I get it.
I got 12,000 people over here, you know. Yeah, enterprise, quote unquote. But yeah, hit that subscribe button on him. And yeah, we're gonna try and do this again. We're trying to do it Mondays and Thursdays. Just should be coming out tonight. I'm hoping we throw this out at like 8 p.m. or something like that. So yeah, that's what we're trying to do. And this is just towards my promise of just having this channel be different types of content. So, you know, this was a kind of a news show, you know, with my buddy here. We're going to be doing other things as time goes on, but yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Anything else?
No. I'll just say what I said last time. Free Tommy. All right. He's still in there. We still got to get him out.
Yeah. Solitary confinement. That's like 12 weeks solitary confinement. That's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane. Absolutely insane. Anyways, guys, like, subscribe, turn on the notifications. It helps the channel tremendously. And other than that, we are out.